Hello, everyone. What is good? What is going on YouTube? Thank you guys for joining me once again for another episode of Marvin's Room. And I know you guys were waiting for this interview today with Julia that have not heard her story. Julia manifested her SP back, overcoming so many odds. You know, some of you guys might have heard her story on Agnes's channel, but this is one of the more intricate, more detailed, based off of just the background and what she had to overcome. And, you know, I think she's a huge inspiration to everyone who's going through anything, especially, you know, health problems, along with, you know, trying to manifest a specific person back. So I have Julia here today in her own words to go over to go over with everyone, you know, her journey, and also too, to give you some updates about, you know, her and her SP and give you guys some lessons. So Julia, welcome to Marvin's Room. Thank you so much for joining me in Australia. Good day, mate.
Good morning. Yeah, it's quite a cold morning here in Sydney, so I am so glad to be joining you, Marvin. Thank you so much for all those kind words you said about me.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just hadn't found a lot of things about Aspergers and law of attraction on YouTube. So that's why I wanted to come on and share my story with you all, because I wanted to obviously encourage those who are also in the same intellectual disability community to know that yes, like it is possible for those in that category to manifest as well, and yeah, just to be a role model for all those people. So that's why I'm so glad I can come on here and share my success story with you all. So I'm very, very excited and very happy to be here with you all today.
So awesome. So to the viewers, explain to the viewers who may not know what Asperger's is.
Yeah, so Asperger's is basically a more higher functioning form of autism. So when you have autism, you have a massive umbrella of autism. So there's different levels and different people on the spectrum. So there's one end of the spectrum where there's lower functioning autism, and then on the opposite side of the spectrum is the more higher functioning side of autism. So that's what Asperger's basically is just basically higher functioning. It just means your brain thinks differently. You may have a few quirks or a few glitches, but basically there's nothing wrong with you. And there's actually no cure for Asperger's, but you can disguise it in a way where it won't be as noticeable sort of when you're in social settings. So from a very early age, I got speech therapy. So yeah, so I did speech therapy from the age of 4 to about the age of 8, and I'm just so fortunate that my parents sought help for me very early on when they immediately saw symptoms of what was going on within me. So I'm so glad that they got help for me and that they invested so much time for me to be the person that I am today. And to this day, I actually still keep in contact with my speech therapist. I consider her my guardian angel. She is just the most wonderful lady I've ever met. And I still go over to her house and I have sleepovers with her and her children. Nice. And yeah, I just love having that close bond with her as well, because I found out that she had also practices the law of attraction too, which is an added bonus, because you can't talk to too many people about the law of attraction, especially if they don't understand what it is. So when you speak to somebody else on that same level, just makes it a whole lot easier, trust me. So yeah, I'm so fortunate to have that special relationship with her. So yeah, and the person I am today, like, literally does not have Asperger. I don't even consider myself on the spectrum anymore, because I just honestly feel like I am so normal. And you know, I will admit I still have a few little glitches and quirks and some traits that, you know, I'm still still working on, because you know, we're not all perfect, so I'm still working on myself. And yes, so today now I was working full time, so now I'm looking for another job. But yeah, I have quite a few friends, you know, I hang out with my family, and yeah, I attracted my specific person back. So yeah, life is pretty good. Yeah.
It sounds like it. Listen, you have the right mindset, and you touched on something. When you say you don't consider yourself, you consider yourself off the spectrum, like that is the way to go. Because I don't care. I just a friend of mine in NYC sent me a post from someone in one of the Neville groups, and they basically cured something that was incurable, you know, and they did it basically by revision and basically
Yep.
saying affirmations like, you know, my health is perfect. I've always been in perfect health, you know, et cetera, stuff like that. And she basically got a phone call from her doctor a few days ago. And the doctor told her, like, yo, you're perfectly healthy. You know what I'm saying? And so, and again, this is something that's incurable. So hearing you, looking at how radiant you are, knowing the conversations that you and I have had in the chats, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
and stuff like that, like it's like I look at you as you don't have Asperger's. You are 100% okay. You are winning. You are radiant. You're glowing. Your aura, like you manifested your SP back. You have all of these things going for you, and I'm just like super proud of you, super excited, and
Yeah.
that you are winning. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things I live by, and I tell my you know, the viewers and everyone is like, you will win, and you have won.
Absolutely.
You will continue to win.
Yeah, I agree. And just like, you know, I'd always tell myself, you know, everything is always working out for you. That's one of my blanket affirmations I use, because that just applies to every aspect of my life. So I always say, you know, something isn't favorable in the 3D, I always say to myself, Julia, don't worry. Everything is working out in your favor. You will attract everything your heart desires. Don't worry about anything. So, yeah, I always say that to myself, because, you know, people like me, we still slip up as well. And especially me more so. Like I tend to be a little bit more sensitive, especially with my Asperger's. That's sort of a little bit more heightened. So
Mm.
that's something I'm learning to control, and, you know, just to control my emotions and just harbor them, you know, just a little bit more. But yeah, like even, you know, I still have slip ups, and yeah, I'm always constantly, you know, working on myself and ensuring that, yeah, I'm the best like version of myself for me as well. So that's what I always like work on myself. I always, you know, do my self love. I do my meditations as well. I don't do them every day. I do them maybe 4 or 5 times a week. And I just, yeah, just enjoy life, and, you know, just enjoying the summer weather here in Sydney. But it might not look like that right now. But yeah, we've had really like warm weather here in Sydney. So I'm just like, you know, and just enjoying life at the moment. And yeah, just know, yeah, everything's going to fall in place for me. So, you know, now I'm in the process of attracting a new job, hopefully to start quite soon. So I just say to myself, look, the right job's going to come along at the right time. You know I am valuable. I am an asset. I am a team player. You know, I have so many skills and talents to offer. So yeah, I just keep telling myself, like, just, you know, let things be. Like, you know, the universe is like working in the background to create that for me. And then, you know, in my threads, I have my mum saying to me, oh, you know, you can't just be complacent. You have to find a job. And but like I said, this is coming from Greek parents who have grown up with a hard work ethic. So yeah, I do understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I say to my mum, look, I'm not just going to accept a random job just for the sake of it. You know, I want a job that's in my design field as well. So I'm just happy. I told her I'm happy just to relax and, you know, just to enjoy the weather while I can. So yeah, that's, you know, something I've obviously learned. I've learned how to deal with situations in the 3D as well, even when it's they're not saying, you know, the favorable things that I want. So I just say to myself, look, don't react, you know, keep calm, you know, keep persisting in the story that you want, and, you know, it's all going to eventually have to conform to your beliefs. So
That's a
yeah,
that's
that's
a
one thing I've learned.
that's a great point. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
So on your SP journey,
Yes.
what would you say was, I guess, your most difficult moment or difficult part of your specific person journey, and having to persist and, you know, ignore the 3D? Because I know that's such a difficult, you know, part of manifestations that so many people worldwide struggle with, is reacting to the 3D. So I would really, really like your what in your answers, in your words, you know, along your SP journey, what was the hardest part after, you know, the breakup?
Well, I would say like when we you know reunited and obviously things were starting to piece back together, you know, I was just affirming that, you know, we're in a loving, committed relationship. And then some of the things he would say to me just weren't reflecting that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what the hell? Like, why is he saying all this? Like, what's going on? And then I had to remind myself, look, listen, these are fragments of your old reality, of your old story that you had been reaffirming and replaying in your mind for so long that was just still coming out. So I had to harbor myself, calm myself down and say, Julia, you can react for a little bit, but don't, you know, harbor or dwell on it. Just continue persisting in your story. So I didn't matter what was in front of me, even if he was, you know, not speaking to me for like a week or a few days. I just kept saying, listen, you know, you are in a loving, committed relationship with him. You have to keep persisting in your self-love and in your story that you want to create, because eventually, like I said, eventually it's going to have to shift and change to reflect um, what you've been telling yourself. So that was one of the challenges, was if I saw something that, yeah, that I was like, wait, this is not what I had affirmed. This is not like in my story. Like, you just have to say to yourself, okay, this is the 3D playing out. Like, go into your 4D, go into, that's your real reality when you're actually creating it in your mind. The 3D is just what's playing out of your past manifestations and your past stories and thoughts and feelings and beliefs. So that was something I had to realize, was keep going, just keep persisting. And even like there was other like little bridge of events that had happened. So I'll divulge into the one that I shared in my story with you, Marv. So, my specific person has a little baby niece. So she had turned 1 in October last year, and obviously due to restrictions, she couldn't have a big party. And at that time, I think we were only allowed maybe 20 people in a home.
Right.
And she shares the same birthday as one of my aunties as well. So she was turning 50, and my specific person's niece was turning 1. So I had affirmed, like I actually even scripted as well. I said, you know, I am happy and grateful now that I went to my SP's niece's first birthday. I love how I hung out with his family, how I'm so close with them, how we had a fabulous day together, etc., etc. So I wrote like basically a whole page of that. And even though I was visualizing, I was scripting, you know, I was doing my sats before going to sleep, that didn't manifest. And I was just shocked, because I'm thinking, like, what did I do wrong? Like, I was affirming all this. I had literally no opposing thoughts on it. So I'm just thinking, like, what's going on? And I was so, like, I was a bit upset because I'd actually bought a present for her, and you know that was an aspect of me living in the end with this particular manifestation, and it just didn't come to fruition. And I was thinking to myself, like, gosh, like, what's happened? Like, I thought, should I like say something to my person? And in the end, you said to me, Julia, don't say anything. You know, you're just going to create drama. You're going to make a mountain out of a molehill. You know, you guys are still, you know, you're still like, you know, just recently reunited, you know, like, you know, you're coming from a place of getting instead of giving. So that was something I had to learn too, was to be mindful to not come from a place of getting. And I think that's a really big lesson too, because when you're putting that getting energy out, like you're trying to, you know, extract something from someone, they just immediately go, ew, like, no thanks, like, you know. And
Right.
it's just an immediate repellent. So it so yeah, they can immediately feel that energy of, yeah, you're trying to, you know, suck love out of someone, you're trying to get something from someone, whether it's love, it's validation, it's anything. So, you know, I just try to, you know, step back from that and just come from a place of giving and just not suck the energy out of that situation. And anyway, so in the end, my auntie ended up having a little 50th gathering at her place on the same night as my specific person's niece's birthday. So I ended up going to that. So, you know, I thought of it as like, look, if I had been invited to that other little birthday gathering, then I would have had a trouble choosing, like, you know, which one to go to. And then I might have, you know, hurt some people's feelings. So in the end, I looked at it as, okay, I'm glad I went to my auntie's thing because at least, you know, I had fun with my own family as well. So I just looked at it as like a positive, you know, positive outlook, because you always have to look things positively as well, no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on. You just always have to stay positive.
Yeah, which is obviously easier said than done for most
Yes.
people, especially because, like you said, you touched on something that's very true. Like the 3D is just your past thoughts, you know what I mean? But your real world is the 24/7 constant, whatever you have or whatever a person has going on inside their mind. That's the real reality. But most people don't focus on that reality because they think, oh, it's in my mind yet. It's not tangible. I can't
Mm.
touch it. I can't touch it. It's not real. But whatever's in your mind is 100% real and 100% alive. And it's only a matter of time before it shows up in your reality. So I think you focusing on that and hitting that on the head is like perfect. Like, okay, my real reality is what's going on up here. My real reality is not what's going on in this 3D world. And I think that was like a major, major key to your success. And I think the success of everyone is focusing on and saying that. Wow, that's just truly amazing, because I'm thinking like, so okay, so here's a little summation for everyone that may not have heard Julia's story on Agnes's channel, or this is the first time seeing this interview. So basically, Julia was with her SP. He was in the armed forces,
Still
and
is.
yes,
Yeah.
and you got to a point to where you felt like you started feeling neglected. You were trying to communicate, reach out to him. He wasn't responding. You know, he wasn't responding to your texts, your phone calls the way that you wanted him to.
Yep.
You found out
Yep.
he was going on a mission trip
Yeah,
away.
that was what he had told me. Yeah, that he was intending on going away, even though the international borders in Australia are closed. So he was intending on going when the borders opened again.
Right. And so all of
Yep.
these things combined, kind of like you had like a rising of fear, anxiety. I'm not first best. I'm not a priority. You know, these sorts of things popping up in your mind, as pretty much all of us would. You know what I'm saying? I've been there, done that, had those same
Yep.
feelings, those same emotions. You know what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening is it ended up manifesting when he contacted
Mm.
you and just said, you know, you can get someone better. Um, I don't think that, you know, I can do this the right way, you know, whatever the case may be. Not in those words exactly, but he basically
Yeah. No.
felt like, you know, he didn't want to keep you down, he didn't want to hold you back, even though you guys really did love each other. But like you said, your whatever was going on up here ended up materializing in
In the 3D. Yep.
right in the 3D. And so take us take us through, I guess, your routine, because I like breaking down the mechanics of what you did when the breakup first happened versus what you did until you guys reunited.
Yep. So, okay. So I actually discovered law of attraction just a few days after the breakup. And first I ended up finding Agnes Vivarelli's
Yeah.
channel. So I really
And this,
resonated
I'm
with her
sorry,
channel.
this was what month?
June last year.
June 2020. Okay, awesome. June
Yeah.
2020.
So yeah, I'll say dates as well, just so it's easier for everyone. So yeah, in June 2020, so we had the breakup on the 5th, and then maybe about a couple of days or so after, I discovered the law of attraction. So first I discovered Agnes Vivarelli's channel, and I actually really resonated with her channel because she's an Australian like me, and just the message she was spreading about, you know, putting yourself first and focusing on self-love, which manifests anything your heart desires. That just really struck a chord for me. So
Mm.
I divulged straight into the content. I was watching all of her videos. I was just so fascinated and intrigued by the law of attraction because, you know, I knew that I had the power to manifest whatever my heart desires, but I didn't know that there was a name attached to it. And then shortly after, I think you had done a collaboration video with Agnes about where do you get your advice from. And during that time, I had family in the background saying, oh, good riddance, USP, or he wasn't good for you, or he just didn't know what he wanted to do in life, he just didn't want you, blah, 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 like all just these negative talks. And when you guys said, you know, this is your own life journey, this is about what you want, like do not listen to, like, you know, other people, because they might be they might be saying things that are skewed from their own past experiences and failures. So when I heard that, that was just the one thing I needed to hear for me to say, yep, I'm going to try and attract my SP back. He didn't do anything seriously wrong. There was no abuse, no cheating, no addictions, like nothing really like seriously like no serious deal breakers. And I really, like, you know, I still loved him and I knew that he loved me too. So, you know, I knew it was possible. So that was when I started the whole process of manifesting him back. So first I divulged straight into self-love. I did meditations, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I focused on hanging out with my family, my friends, just exercising as well. So I just pretty much took the focus off of him and put the focus back on me, because when you put yourself on that pedestal, you can have whatever your heart desires. Trust me, because when you had that other person on that pedestal that's higher than you, then, you know, you let them be the focus, you let, you know, them be your entire world, which isn't the truth, because you're the god of your own reality, you're the ultimate creator. So you know, you have to see yourself as, you know, a powerful, confident, sexy, you know, great human being that can have whatever, you know, your heart desires. So I had to, you know, really divulge in and think about that myself as well. But the most important thing was when you said then I discovered your channel and I started watching your videos, and you said in one of your videos to heal your inner child and to heal your past traumas. And to me, that was extremely important due to my Aspergers, because in the past, throughout my childhood, I was bullied and I had some people say some incredibly disheartening and nasty things to me about my Aspergers. And some of the things I was told was that I was once told that I use Aspergers as an excuse for everything. I've been told that I might not survive in the adult world socially. Like my auntie told me that, and that was just not true at all, because like I have so many friends from all my different workplaces, and I was, you know, doing fine. Like I felt like I wasn't going to struggle. So I know like why she had said that. And so I had to go through and I had to heal those, and I had to say to myself, you know, you are fine. You are normal. Like nothing is wrong with you. You are just as normal as the next person. So I actually had to go through and do a spotlight meditation, and to just clear all those thoughts and those past experiences, and just to forgive those people that were ever mean to me or bullied me or said those nasty things. So I had to, let that all go. So once doing that, then I started, you know, while continuing self-love in the background, once I learned that your thoughts create your reality, that's when I had to completely drop the old story I had about my specific person, that he didn't make time for me, I wasn't a priority, that the army has changed him, etc., etc. So I had to completely changed my story and what I was saying about him. So obviously I've changed it to, yes, we're in a loving, committed relationship, that he wants to settle down with me, that he like, you know, we both like we both completely love each other, we love spending time together. So I actually liked scripting, so because I love writing and reading it, so I scripted quite often. And I would just read it whenever I felt like it. So, and I'll even on the back of my journal, I also wrote like other manifestations that have happened too, like little things, like, you know, if I've seen, you know, let's say certain birds, or if I've won, say, auctions on eBay. So I wrote like just little tiny things just to keep me motivated and to encourage me to know, hey, this is working, and, you know, this can actually happen. So so meanwhile, while I was, you know, doing my scripting, and I'll visualize as well quite often too. So So while I was doing all that, I was just living my life, just working, focusing on, hanging out with my family and friends. And then in my mind, I knew, okay, my person's going to reach out to me. Why wouldn't he? Like, I knew
Exactly.
in my mind that I am first best and that he isn't going to find anyone better than me. Like, because we literally live in the same suburb. Like, who is he going to find that
Right.
literally is in the same suburb as you, right? Like, it just was a given. And, so I knew he was going to contact me. So I just said to myself, I surrender and I let go, because I had to, because eventually if you keep hanging on to your desire, you just have too much resistance. So, it just doesn't manifest. So I had to completely drop it, let it go. And I had to put my full trust in the universe. And I know that's extremely hard to do. That's probably one of the most hardest components, surrendering and letting go. But trust me, once you do that, it just comes back to you tenfold, and when you least expect it as well. So this was the whole month of June. This was happening. So then comes July, 1 month later. So I was working at my supermarket, and I opened the drawer, and we had these little trolley tokens. So what that is it unlocks a trolley if you don't have a dollar coin. So I saw them in the drawer, and it immediately reminded me of the time when my specific person's dad asked me to get some tokens from my supermarket. So I don't know what it was, but something said in my gut, give the bloody tokens. So I was like, okay, I have to give these tokens. So this is guys, this is inspired action. So it's just, you just get this rush, and you just immediately know that you have to do something. So once my shift had finished, I dropped off the tokens in his letterbox, and I was actually going to visit my grandparents. So I wrote a little note, and I texted his mum, because I'm really close with his mum, and told her that I had dropped some stuff off in the letterbox, and she replied quite quickly actually and said thank you, and that she'd missed me. And then in return, I just wished her and the family unconditional love, like no mention of my specific person. And I didn't do it to try to get his attention. Like, it was just my act of kindness for the day. And it just made me feel really good inside to do that act. So it just made me happy. So
Nice.
anyway, continuing that day on. So I was spending some time with my grandparents. I was visiting them for lunch, and then I slept over at my uncle and auntie's place as well. And then about 8 o'clock at night, kabam, I get a text from him, and it's him saying thank you for the tokens and that I didn't have to do that. And oh my God, Marvin, you don't know how excited I was. I was like jumping up and down, and my heart just like skipped a beat. I'm like, oh my God, like I created this. And my auntie came into my room shortly after. She goes, hey, why do you look so happy? And I told her, and she was like, oh my God, like, yeah, I was just so happy. I was on cloud nine. Like, and in the shower, I was like, thank you, universe. Like, thank you so much. Like, I was so happy. Yeah, because I'm like, oh my God, this shit is real. Like, this is crazy. So yeah, crazy. And we had a little short exchange after. So we wished each other good night and sweet dreams. And then a few days after, I didn't hear from him. So I thought to myself, he's going to message me again, surely. I'm going to hear from him again soon. So 3 days later, he texts me again. And then he was asking me for my opinion on sort of like a logo he had designed for his personal training job, and he wanted my opinion on it. So we had like a whole text conversation that basically went on until like midnight. So from that day, he had initiated every single text message conversation. I did nothing. I took a massive step back, and I was like, I'm gonna let things be. I'm gonna let things unfold. And he was messaging me consistently, and we were having really good conversations, and we were even flirting a little bit as well. So I was just going with the flow. So that would happen for about the next 6 weeks. And then comes to August 2020, and he had suggested on a few separate occasions that we meet up. So at that time, my family was going away down the coast for 4 days, and I thought that's perfect because they were the ones that were a block to me in terms of like negative comments and saying things like, oh, are you talking, like my mum would say things like, oh, are you messaging him, and oh, I'm going to go to his house, like if you're talking to him, and like making full threats like for no reason. And I was just like I really did not want to deal with that. So I was so happy when they had gone away and it was just me and my father. And one night, my father had gone out for dinner, and so it was just me by myself at home. So I was like, perfect. This is the perfect time for us to meet up. So I suggested to him that he come over for dinner. So I made him some dinner, and yeah, it was really nice. And we just caught up on each other's lives, and I could tell like there was still something there. Like he was giving me those like subtle winks like he used to, like while we were dating. And then we moved over to the lounge after we finished eating, and we were just mucking around, joking a little, had like nice conversation. And then all of a sudden there's a pause, and he just turns around and says, can you give me a kiss? And I was like, what? Like, okay. So yeah, that was the first time we had kissed. And yeah, it was like fireworks. And then we just cuddled on the couch, and we were just so comfortable and so warm in each other's arms. And I felt like he was almost falling asleep. And then we were just talking, and then I said to him, does your family know about me and how we've started talking again? And he goes, yeah, they do. He goes, they also know that I still love you. And I turned around and I was like, oh my God, I have to do a double take. What, you still love me? And he goes, yes, I love you. He goes, I always have and I always will. And oh my God, my heart just melted. And he actually apologized for the breakup and said that he had regretted it straight away from the very first minute. So since then straight after that, actually a few days later was his niece's christening. And this was something I had scripted to prior because yeah, I knew obviously of the date beforehand because this was planned many months ago. So I was scripting that, yep, I was invited, that, you know, I had a fabulous time, like his family was so happy to see me. So so my specific person said, yeah, you can come, like I'll just make sure that like there's not like too many people, because again we were still in the midst of the coronavirus, so I think there could only be no more than 70 people. So you had to obviously check to make sure that that threshold wasn't already fulfilled. So on that day, you know, I was getting ready because I was like, yep, I'm going to the christening, and I had, you know, I'd bought a present already, so I was, you know, getting ready, I was fixing my hair. And then he calls me and he says to me, oh, look, you can come to the church, but I don't think you can come to the lunch. And I was like, no, this is not the reality that I want. And I just said a big fat no, and I didn't accept it. So before I left, I actually sat on my bed and I did a revision meditation as well. I just revised him saying, hey, Julia, you can come to the christening. Like, you know, and I was just really happy. So then I was driving all the way to the church, and I just kept saying to myself, I'm going to the lunch. I am going to the lunch. I am going to the lunch. And then I rocked up to the church, and I was actually one of the first ones there. And so I had arrived there before my specific person did. So I was just talking to his brother and his sister-in-law and just asking them how they were and things like that. And I said to his sister-in-law, oh, how many people did you end up having? And she goes, oh, we only have 66 people. And I thought, oh my God, like that's perfect, because like there couldn't be more than 70 people. And I was like, woohoo, that means I can come to the lunch. So there's less than 70 people. Right. And then it turned out that one of his grandmothers didn't come to lunch afterwards. So I said to my person, oh, hey, like I can come to the lunch. And so, yeah, he was really happy. So things worked out really well. So we had a really nice day at the christening, and everyone was so happy to see me. All his family was so overjoyed and happy that I was there. Yeah, and it was really cold, but it was a really nice day. So so that was August. And then throughout September, October, November, you know, it was just like constant. So, you know, we were going steady, you know, we're still messaging and seeing each other. And yeah, just like things were just going like really well. And then at times, you know, when, you know, I wouldn't hear from him for days, and I was just like, no, like, you know, what is going on? Like, this is not what I want. And I just had to keep, you know, and it's okay to, you know, scream, even if it means screaming profanities in your pillow. You are going to have moments where you're just going to like feel frustrated and feel angry. So I just had to like let it all out. And then get back on track. So I just kept saying to myself, it's all right, you know, things are going to happen. Because I was thinking, like, when am I going to go and meet his when am I going to see his family? Like, you know, when is he going to, you know, do all this, and when is he going to do this? And, you know, I had to,
Yeah.
like, say, relax, you know, it's going to happen in its own time. Don't pressure anything on him. Don't force anything. So eventually I first had dinner with his family as well, so things are starting to fall into place now. And then I started inviting him to other events. So I had another christening at the end of the year, so I invited him to that because, you know, my friend said I could invite him. So he came and he had a good time. And then he also went to my friend's birthday as well. So yeah, things were going really well. Like, he was coming, like, to a few events that I had invited him to, and, you know, we were seeing each other more often. I was going to his house more regularly for dinners, and yeah, we were doing, like, more things. Like, it was sort of pretty much back to how we were pre-breakup. So I was just really happy. And Christmas as well, so I went to his place for Christmas in the morning. And then yeah, so fast forward to today. We actually went on our first vacation in 3 years, because we hadn't been away since we went overseas in 2017. So we hadn't been away since then due to previous breakups, and then we were just taking things slow. And then, yeah, this was the first time we had been away. So it was really, really exciting, and it went
Nice.
really, really well. But then something I had learned while I was away was he had said a couple of unfavorable things that didn't match my story. And I'm like, why is he saying this rubbish? Like, why is he saying this? And and obviously knowing me, like, because of my sensitivity, like, it just immediately hit a raw pink nerve and just brought back all those memories from the breakup, because it was pretty much sort of similar to the convo that we had back last year that, you know, was sort of the catalyst for the breakup. And I just broke down into tears, and he's like, why are you crying? He goes, don't be upset. And then I was, you know, trying to not react to it. And then and yeah, I had to keep telling myself, you know, this is, you know, still old. Even like how many months later, the old story still plays out, like, in bits and pieces. And I said to myself, okay, I knew I had created this. So before going to bed that night, I, you know, said the Ho'oponopono prayer a few times. I just kept saying, you know, Julia, everything's going to be okay. You know, don't worry about the 3D. You know, you're in a loving, committed relationship with him. You know, everything is going to be fine. So I said, okay. And then I got myself back on track. And then, yeah, so today are going really, really well. And I'm just fortunate that, yeah, like, just for his existence in my life. And I'm not forcing him to, you know, do something he doesn't want to do. So now the next step will be getting him to meet my family, because he's met my family before, but he hasn't seen them in 3 years because of the previous breakups mentioned before. But
Right.
so yeah, like, I don't want to pressure him to doing something that he doesn't want to do as well. And then at the same time, I was respecting his my family as well as him as well. So yeah, and then my family is saying to me now, like, oh, when is he going to come over? Like, oh, we want to, like, talk to him, and, like, I want to have those serious conversations to make sure that he's not stringing you along again, and that he's got good intentions, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like, I just don't want to deal with it, because, you know, we're just living in the moment today. Like, we're not in that space where we're thinking about, you know, marriage and, you know, talking about the future. Well, you know, I know where I stand. I know that, you know, I want to eventually, like, have a future with him. And you know what, like, I'm just, like, letting things unfold. I know it's going to eventually happen, whether it happens in 1 year or 2 years, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm 24 years old. Like, I'm still quite young. Like, I'm not
Oh
ready to
yeah.
get married.
You
That's
have a
what I said
ton
to
of
my
time.
parents. I said to my parents, like, I'm not ready to get married. I said, we're not at that stage where we're talking about, you know, a further commitment. So I was trying to explain that to them. And then they're saying, oh yeah, you know, that's fine. But, you know, we don't want you to get married as well. But we want to know, oh, does he think you're the one? Is he going to commit to you? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? And, you know, that's just like, and I don't want to like say anything to him. They're thinking, oh yeah, you're just pussyfooting around it. Oh, you're just walking on eggshells. But they just don't understand that, you know, I don't want to pressure him into doing something he doesn't want to do. Like,
Exactly.
you know, you don't pick the fruit before it ripens, right? So because if you jump things too quickly, it's just not going to work out. So that's why I said, you know, let him do what he wants to do. Like, you know, he wants to go on army deployments and he wants to, you know, go away for a certain period of time, you know, just for him to find himself. And I'm all for that, Marvin. I'm so happy for him if he wants to go away and do whatever he wants to do. Like, I'm fine with it. And then my parents like, oh, but then what if he comes back and then he says, oh, like, I don't want to be with you anymore? Well, that's not going to happen because I'm affirming that we're in a loving, committed relationship. It's going to have to conform. So,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I just, that's an important lesson for I want all the viewers to know is like, you know, don't give in to outside pressures, you know, from family and friends. Just know that you are the creator of your own reality, and whatever people are saying to you are basically like a reflection of your story. So like everyone is a reflection of your story. So you just have to know that, yeah, okay, your family might be coming from, you know, a place of love and care, but you know what, at the end of the day, this is your life. You
Yes.
are the creator of your own reality, and you know, whatever is gonna like whatever your heart desires is gonna come in its own time at the appointed time. So I just had to keep saying that to myself. Look, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if he's involved in my family now. Like, I don't mind. Like, it's fine. Like, as long as I'm with his family. But you know, like, I'm just happy just to let things be, just to let things ride out, and for him to do whatever he needs to do, and then at the time, then we're gonna have a commitment when the time is right.
Oh, listen, easily. I think you just said so many things, and I am your mental diet was amazing. How you immediately just said no and shut out everything and said, no, this is my reality. This is what I want to create. I'm not paying attention to this. And I think that's an important point that I want all of the viewers to understand. And also another important point, I think, from your story is you are, like you said, the creator of your reality, right?
Yes.
So also paying attention to what your parents and everything was saying, because so many times people get caught up on just focusing on them and what they want in their SP. But in situations like what you just said, when parents are involved, I highly recommend all the viewers, if you're going through something like this, is you need to revise your family members and friends as well. You need
Yes.
to revise and script, and you need to start telling the new story about your family members as well. Because understand, in this moment, most people, their family members have no clue about law of attraction. They have no clue
Yes.
that you can be influenced by your thoughts, words, emotions, feelings, etc. Like, they have no awareness of this. So they're operating from the worldly view, you know, and then you have Julia, who's operating from on a much higher plane from the spiritual view, because she knows and understands she is the god or the goddess of her reality. So when you guys are going through these situations, understand that if your family members and friends are telling you that stuff, that's because in your reality, in your vibration, in your mind, you're telling the same story. You're telling, like Nelly
Yes.
calls it, the old man. You continue to replay, oh, my parents are saying this. My parents are always being so negative. My parents are wondering when my SP is going to do this. My parents are wondering when my SP is going to do that. So instead, you have to become the new man. You have to tell the new story. Isn't it wonderful? My parents are on the same page with me about my specific person. Isn't it wonderful? My parents no longer pressure me about my specific person. Isn't it wonderful that they accept my specific person and they accept me? Isn't it wonderful they accept whatever decision I choose to make in regards to any of my relationships? They no longer question me. And these are the types of things that you guys have to take from Julia's story and understand that if you're in that same situation, stop telling the old story about your parents and your relatives or whoever it may be, and start telling that new story. Because again, we have the propensity a lot of times to not focus on that sort of stuff because we're so focused on our relationship with our SP, not realizing, oh shit, I have to change the way I view my parents. I have to change the way my parents also view me too and view my relationships, because getting your parents to change and to be on the same page with you is no different than getting your SP to change and be on the same page with you. It's all the same,
Exactly.
but we skip that step for whatever reason. Like we've gotten our SP back, or you know, we're so focused on ourselves that we forget, like, okay, there's still some more self-concept work that has to be done in regards to, you know, my family members or my relatives. So I think that was a very, very, very good point. I'm glad you brought that up in your story about
Yeah.
your family.
Because I mean, it's different because I still live at home with my parents and my younger sister. So I
Right.
can't just not hide my relationship with my specific person from them. So I had to, you know, focus on like other solutions to the problems which you just mentioned, you know, affirming that, you know, they accept my relationship with my SP, you know, they're okay with whatever decision I make, they are loving and giving and they don't interfere. So yeah, I had to learn to um yeah just like affirm about them, as like to change the story about them, and
Mm.
to include affirmations about them as well as affirmations about me and my SP as well. So I had to learn to deal with that as well, and to ignore those comments as well, because you know me, like before law of attraction, would have just broken down in tears and would have
Mm.
just like been a complete mess, because when I had when the breakup had first happened, my family was saying, oh yeah, you can find so much better than him. And you know, I was talking about, and then they told me that I needed to see my auntie, the same one that had said a few like not so nice things about me. She thought I had to go see a psychologist,
Mm.
because like with you know, when I was talking about, you know, I tried to mention the law of attraction to them, and then they would turn around and say, oh, that's silly, oh, that's witchcraft, and oh, you know, you can't manifest a specific person back. And my auntie said, you need to go see a psychologist. And I said, no, I don't need to see a psychologist, you know, I'm totally fine. And then in my mind I'm thinking to myself, like, why would I take advice from you? Because this particular auntie, she's in her mid 30s and she's gone through a terrible divorce with her
Mm.
ex-husband who had cheated on her. So she has her own issues to deal with as well, not just
Exactly.
with relationships, but you know, she has issues with her health as well and her mental well-being. So I just said to myself, you know, don't take advice from people who don't have what you want. You
Mm.
obviously want to be surround yourself with, you know, role models that, you know, have what you want, you know, that are in great relationships and that are really happy. You know, I take that more from my own speech therapist, because she has a wonderful marriage with her husband, and I see the way she interacts with her children as well. Like every
Nice.
morning they listen to music, just like you, Marvin. They listen to music every single morning to wake up, and it's just this great energy. So you know, you just take advice and you just take a leaflet out of those sorts of relationships and people, and you know, you take whatever advice you find helpful and you just ignore the rest that isn't helpful. And I think Agnes had a video called I think it was called why you should find someone better. So I think everyone needs to watch that video if you're unsure, you know, about, you know, if you want to attract your SP back because of what family and friends have said to you. And that
Mm.
video just explains everything. Like, it's like night and day. It's like, well,
Mm.
look, if you don't change yourself, you're just going to keep attracting yourself in in situations, or you're going to attract people, the same type of people, and you know, it's just going to be a pattern. And once you break that pattern and you realize, okay, this starts with me and myself, and then you change, you know, you, and then eventually, like, you know, your outside world changes as well, then of course you can have your specific person. So yeah, I had to deal with like family and friends. And then my mum was trying to set me up with this other guy as well, who was my
Uh,
friend's boyfriend's friends who I had never met before, and my mum had never met before. She only just went off what my friend had told her. And she was just like, oh, you should meet this dude. You should go and meet him. Oh, you should go to coffee with him. You should go see him. And I'm just like saying to her, no, like, I'm not ready to do that. And, you know, she was just like, oh, you should go out with your friend and the friends, oh, you might meet someone, or you never know, someone might be around the corner. And I'm just like, you know, shut the F up. Like, you know, leave me alone, because you don't, while you're, you know, you're manifesting and you're creating your own reality, you just don't need those types of comments. And then the more that you persist in your mental diet, the more that you work on yourself, the less you're going to ignore those comments and know, oh yeah, this doesn't mean anything, you know. Unless you give a meaning to something, it means nothing. So very important.
That was a powerful statement right there. What you give meaning to is what you're going to ultimately feel in the end, whether it's resistance, whether it's joy, whether it's sorrow, whatever the case may be. When you have the choice, I'm so glad you said that. Everyone watching has the choice to decide what they give meaning to. And 9 times out of 10, we give meaning to things that we shouldn't give meaning to. And
Oh
then
yes.
we wonder why, you know, we like I said in one of my other videos, we create our own anxiety. Why?
Yes.
Because we are giving meaning to things like you and I discussed, Julia, you know, giving meaning to not being invited or not being able to go to something, an event, or
Yes.
giving meaning to not receiving that text message, or giving meaning, you know. And that's one of the things that just sets so many people back and creates so much resistance. So I'm very glad you said that.
Yeah, and it's the same with text messages from a specific person. If they just say, hey, like with no crosses or emojis, like unless you assign the meaning to, oh, hey means that they're really cold. Like you always need to assume that that message is in the best possible tone. And you know what? And why would you also want text messages as well? You want actual face-to-face communication. So that's why I don't put too much emphasis on text messages from him, and even phone calls as well. Like, you know, you really want that actual human contact to contact. Like you don't just want social media, oh yeah, he liked my post, or oh yeah, he viewed my story, oh he didn't comment back. But it's easy for me because my specific person doesn't have social media. But you know, unless you say, okay, this means that it's good, like, you know, it puts you in a more positive state of mind, and knowing that, yeah, like, you know, it is positive, and it just keeps, you know, keeps you in that state of mind to keep persisting in the story that you want ultimately.
Oh my God, listen, Julia, like, you don't understand. Your story is such an inspiration to myself, to the viewers. Like, I've never heard of a unique situation like this before, you know, and to be chatting, because this right now, what we're doing is a manifestation in itself, because
Yeah.
we constantly said, I remember chatting with you in the thread saying, I can't wait to read your story. I can't wait to read your
Yeah,
story. I can't wait
I
to read
know. And I did the same with Agnes too, because, you know, I'm like, yes, my success story is going to come up. It's going to come up. I'm going to be in this playlist. Everyone's going to like be like, oh my God, so happy for you. Congratulations. Yeah. And you know what? And I just want to come on here and share that, yes, this is real. Like, you know, it's happened to me. Like, you know, I was able to create the life that I want and the relationship that I want with my specific person, which is still a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress. But, you know, I've manifested him back. He's back in my life. We're dating again, and you know, things are going really good. And I'm just yeah, happy to live life. And that's why I wanted to come on here and share this with you all, because I know some people in the intellectual disability community may struggle, you know, sitting in meditation, you know, silently and trying to concentrate. And, you know, it is practice, it's focus, it's discipline, you know, trying to control your thoughts as well, like not having 10,000 thoughts running in your head at the one time. So, you know, and like I said earlier, you know, I hadn't seen a lot of material with people like in the law of attraction community with Aspergers or with autism or ADHD or whatever the situation might be. So
Exactly.
yeah, you know, and it's, you know, it's the same for everyone. It's like, you know, you tailor it to suit your own needs. And, you know, it's not a one size fits all. Like, you can meditate however as much as you like. You can do, you can imagine, if you have a very vivid imagination, like, you can imagine whatever you like, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, what it is. Like, you know, you do it to suit your own needs. So yeah, I wanted to come on here and share that with everyone.
Listen, thank you so much. And I wanted you to do it as well, because like you said, even myself personally, you know, you hear so many SP stories, you know what I mean? But you don't hear people that are like, because you didn't just have to manifest your SP back. Like, you had the whole
No.
mental aspect, you had the whole Aspergers aspect. Like, you had to overcome all of that stuff on top of manifesting your SP. So I know you're going to be such a huge inspiration to us all, because you didn't just have to worry about a specific person. Like, just like the way you cleared everything, the way you went back and healed everything. I hope all the viewers truly understand and listen to Julia's story and just get inspired and stay inspired, because this is truly like one of those stories that you hear and you're just like, man, like, and there's so many SP stories I can take and I can say, okay, listen, I understand that you feel like you're going through something, but compared to Julia, like, you didn't go through anything compared to Julia, because Julia had to crush all of those old fears about, you know, how she was raised, about, you know, a disability, you know, that she doesn't even have, you know what I mean? And the fact that you could overcome all of that, I just think that you deserve to be praised and your message deserves to be shared with the world. And again, that's why I wanted to come on here and talk to you personally after already hearing your story and knowing your story from Agnes. But I wanted to personally come on here and then, like I said, give the viewers an update and share with these guys, because they're going to be people that see this interview that haven't
Yes,
seen it on Agnes's channel. You know what I'm saying?
that's
And the
right.
more and more
Yeah,
subscribers that
exactly.
keep popping on, you know what I'm saying? They're going to say, oh, wow. You know what I mean? So your story is going to give birth to a lot of people getting their SP back. So I just want to thank you once again for coming on here and sharing with all of the viewers, and eventually, you know, a bunch of people around the world, because this is going to be up on YouTube and it's going to just keep playing and playing and playing. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
You are very welcome, Marv, at any time.
Thank you so much. Guys, listen, we're going to wrap it up right here, but I want you to understand something. Anytime you get discouraged, I want you guys to come back and watch this interview with Julia and re-listen to her gems that she said about what she did and how she did it, because she overcame more than just manifesting a specific person back. And now she knows what truly does matter: self-love, self-concept, and how her words, her thoughts, her emotions have created her current reality right now, and being healthy and having her SP back and thriving in whatever she does in the future. So amazing, so
Absolutely.
powerful. Julia, once again, thank you so much. To the viewers, I hope you really enjoyed this interview. I hope you really got some gems from a health perspective, to know that it's not impossible to overcome any, you know, diagnosis that you have. If Julia can do this, overcome, you know, health issues or mental issues, and heal and manifest your SP back, listen, we can conquer the world, guys. We can conquer the world.
Exactly right.
All right, Julia, thank you so much. You can say your last remarks, your last whatever to the viewers.
Oh God, just remember, you are the God of your own reality, everyone. You are your own conscious creator. You create your own life, okay? Be amazing, you know, wake up, live life, and just be happy, smile, and be grateful and free.
All the way from Australia, guys. All the way
All
from
the way from
Australia.
Sydney. All
down
the way
under,
from
mate.
Sydney. G'day,
Down.
mate.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in once again. This has been another episode of Marvin's Room. I will see you guys next time. You know where, you know when.